Hello, I'm Dr. George Giuliani. I've been a licensed clinical psychologist as well as a professor for 47 years in the Department of Special Education and Literacy at the CW Post campus of Long Island University. You probably came to this YouTube site to hear about bullying. I'm happy about the new laws that are trying to prevent bullying, and that's good for the short term. The long-term approach is to win over the hearts and minds of children so that they will never desire to bully others. That's what my book, How to Teach Children to Think and Act Fairly, attempts to do through the medium of the video Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which has been seen by millions and millions of children and adults over the years. Here's an example of what I mean. Rudolph goes to the tryouts for Santa's sleigh team. All the other reindeer jumped 1 to 2 feet in the air. Rudolph jumped 10 to 12 feet. Coach Comet declared his jump as magnificent, and Santa was very complimentary in his praise of Rudolph's jump. Then Rudolph's nose starts to glow. Coach Comet says that no one with a disability may be on the sleigh team. The children are told by Coach Comet that they must never play with Rudolph again. Coach Comet and Santa encourage the other reindeer to bully and mock Rudolph. Santa tells Donna, Rudolph's father, that he should be ashamed of himself. Why? Because he has a child with a disability. In my book, Santa's wife, Mrs. Claus, gets upset over Santa's policy that no one with a disability can be accepted. Instead, he must be rejected. She then has a talk with Santa and points out the policy about rejection of children with disabilities. Santa realizes that his wife is right, and he changes the policy from rejection to acceptance. He goes from exclusion to inclusion. When you're reading this chapter with children, ask them what they thought about what went on in this scene. Was Coach Comet doing the right thing or the raw thing? And ask them why. Was Mrs. Claus right or wrong? And again, ask why. Let them discuss and debate the issue. You're probably saying to yourselves, what's to debate? Well, I was on 17 radio and TV call-in shows, and I was appalled about the number of adults who said that it's good to bully children with disabilities because it prepares them for what their lives will be like when they get older. This attitude is absurd. Why is it absurd? Let me start with just 5 bits of data that are quotes that come from a non-profit organization called Make Beats, Not Beat Down, which is dedicated to presenting alternative help to bullies and the bullied. 1. It is estimated that 160,000 children miss school every day due to attack or intimidation by other students. Number 2, American schools harbor approximately 2.1 million bullies and 2.7 million of their victims. Number 3, 280,000 students are physically attacked in secondary schools each month. Number 4, 90% of 4th through 8th graders report being victims of bullying. And 5, according to bullying statistics, 1 out of every 10 students who drops out of school does so because of repeated bullying. Over my 47 years as a psychologist, I have administered therapy to many children who are trying to deal with the problem of being bullied. I've also worked with adults who are trying to deal with the trauma of being bullied years and years ago. I wish all of you could hear the stories I've heard about what a tortured life many of them led because of bullying. To further show its absurdity, during the call-in shows, I would respond to the caller by asking him or her, do any of your friends or relatives have a child with a disability? Almost all of them said yes. Then I would say, I'd like you to visit that child one day next week and go there with a mindset that will mock and bully that child. Could you do it? They'd often say no. Then I would say, if you can't do it to your friend's child, why would you do it to any other child? Almost always, the host of the call-in show would break for a commercial. When the commercial was finished, the caller was usually gone. To conclude all this, there are 10 chapters with major policy changes that Santa makes in my book, thanks to Mrs. Claus's suggestions. The North Pole becomes a place of total inclusion. Santa is now an outstanding role model and a greater hero than he ever was before the changes. By going to my website, www.teachingchildrenaboutfairness.com. You can purchase my book for $7.99 or buy the book through a Nook or iPad format for only $3.99. So remember, go to www.teachingchildrenaboutfairness.com. And thanks for listening.